1 Million Cups is a weekly educational program developed by the Kauffman Foundation.
Over the years, we've added more cities. It creates a great energy here to see what's happening across the country.
What I've learned from other entrepreneurs is very, very valuable.
Sitting in a room with other people that have ideas too, it helps people to leave thinking, you know what, my idea is worth something. It's worth pursuing. It's worth going after it. Even if it looks like a challenge, I should still go out and try to do it.
Good morning, Royals fans. Yay. All right, hopefully everybody's going to be not working at 2 p.m. today to cheer on the Royals. No, I thought it was 3 Eastern, 2 here. Okay, I'll start at 2 for you. My name is Brian. I'm one of your community organizers. I'm here with Courtney and Britton and Toby. And great to be back. Who's here for the first time? Raise your hand. We'd love to welcome you. Are you guys the Fast Track facilitators? Welcome, you guys. Great to have you here. Hope you enjoy it. We are, welcome to 1 Million Cups. We are a weekly entrepreneurial educational event put on by the Kauffman Foundation and run by community organizers. And every week we have 2 entrepreneurs share their project, their story, their company with us, and we do about a 6-minute presentation, and then we do some Q&A. We'll be available to run around with microphones for the Q&A section. But before the Q&A starts, we have our panelists start out and ask some questions, and I'd love for you guys to take turns with the microphone, stand up, introduce yourselves, and say hello.
Good morning. My name is Nathan Kurtz. I'm an associate here at the Kauffman Foundation and thrilled to be here this morning.
That was a quick introduction. I'm Nick Fox from London. I work for the Virgin Group. That's the company that Richard Branson founded almost 50 years ago. We have a number of businesses around the world, and I run most of our communications and also a lot of our entrepreneurial programs. We look to back and support a number of entrepreneurs around the world, ranging from Jamaica, South Africa, a lot in the UK, and we're starting to look at America as well.
Thanks. As you can tell by the accents, we're not from Kansas. The normal thing is I tell people we're from Alabama. So anyone from Alabama, I apologize in advance. I'm Steve Bridges. I'm the British Consul General. I'm based in Chicago, and we are here in Kansas City for a week to thicken the ties between the UK and the great city of Kansas City. Go Cubs, just in case there is another team still in the baseball. Not probably doing as well as you guys. So we're here for a week. We've got a variety of events going on. We'd love for you guys to engage with us. We have an event tonight starting at 6 o'clock at the World War I Museum. If you'd like to come and be fed and watered by the British government, take it. It's a one-off opportunity. It doesn't happen very often. And then we've also got our offices at 1200 on Main Street. Come in and see us, come and have a cup of tea and talk about Kansas City in the UK. So it's great for us to be here. I've got a whole bunch of my team here. It's about 25 of us in total milling around Kansas City. So if you see a bunch of itinerant Brits, you know that they're with us. So have a great day.
One more? Nope, okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Great to have you here. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We've got Kirk with Pro Alpha Nutrition. And, okay, thanks for putting that up. Let's hear it for Kirk.
Good. Hi, I'm Kirk Johnson, co-owner of Pro Alpha Nutrition.
And I'm Jonathan Wiggins. I guess he's on his own since you just said Kirk, so I'm gonna let you get this. No, I'm just joking.
Okay, go ahead.
So we're excited to share Pro Alpha Nutrition with you guys. We're both 2 practicing chiropractors. We have about 20 years of combined experience in clinical nutrition and about 500 postgraduate hours in functional medicine. And currently we have an office that's in Overland Park, Kansas. And we've been practicing there for just a little while. We moved our office to expand and open a warehouse for a nutritional company. And basically where we're at, after years of practicing, doing blood work as well as doing functional testing and all that stuff, we work with several patients throughout the week, each week, and we'll work with thyroid dysfunction, adrenal gland dysfunction, different things. And when we get them balanced out, what we found was that we were using a greens-based phytonutrient drink basically to hold them at that homeostatic level. And that worked really, really well. What we noticed was that even though the product we were using was a good product, it was missing some things in order to really make a difference in the marketplace. And so basically, we were sitting in a coffee shop, talking and said, why don't we make our own? Why don't we just make it all-encompassing? And so that kind of led us to where we're at right now. We spent the whole year of 2013 working on developing our product and making it all-encompassing. And we worked with a taste chemist to work on texture. Taste was a big thing. I don't know if any of you have tried like greens-based drinks, but typically they're pretty rough to choke down. And so that was one of our issues. We knew, and we were passionate about it when we gave it to a patient. We were like, you need to take this. This is going to be good for you. But the issue was, about a week later, they'd come back and hand it back to us. They just couldn't get it down. So we really, really worked hard to make it a taste something they could take every day. And in fact, what we found is that ours tastes so good that typically everybody asks us if we put crack in it because they get used to it and they have to have it and freak out. Right now, we're actually, sales have been so good, we're on back order and everybody's kind of freaking out a little bit. So we worked really hard in 2013 and launched. And I'm going to let Kirk take it.
And we kind of, our whole, after practicing that long, we see this every day in the clinic is let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. You can really heal a lot of conditions with the right diet, with the right nutrition. As many of you know, the standard American diet is pretty poor in general, and we see that in the clinic every day as well. If you just look at the graph, you can see that most people, 60% of people, get less than 1 or 2 servings of fruits and vegetables per day in their diet. So they're missing a lot of phytonutrients that are really needed for their body processes to work properly. What we've seen in the pitfalls of other greens formulas on the market is taste, like John just talked about. They don't taste good. They taste like the lawn clippings off the bottom of your lawnmower, which nobody wants to drink that, and it's gross, So we had to make a product that tasted good so everybody, kids all the way through adults, could take it. Fillers. Many greens products use a lot of fillers. Now there is health benefit to some fillers, but you have to take a ton of it, and it's really not the purpose of taking a green phytonutrient drink. Those fillers are commonly less than beta-glucan and apple pectin. And they also were formulated with common allergens, and most of it would be soy lecithin. And soy, a lot of people are trying to avoid soy now. So, and then they had lack of therapeutic dosages of probiotics, digestive enzymes, and antioxidants. There's our greens bottle, done by our photographer. It looks pretty good. So Pro Alpha Greens, we changed the green phytonutrient market by formulating a product that had over 30 billion probiotics per serving, 700 milligrams of digestive enzymes, and an independently tested ORAC value, which is oxygen radical absorption capacity of 15,300. We can claim 20 servings of fruits and vegetables in 1 scoop of our product. And the mixed berry flavor surprises everyone, especially kids. You can get kids to drink that, get all their fruits and vegetables in 1 scoop. We solved the problem of the fruit and vegetable intake because it's so simple to get that in 1 scoop, shake it up in a blender bottle, and drink it. Children who don't normally eat fruits and vegetables will get their fruits and vegetables, the phytonutrients and all the things that help their body through the 1 scoop. And ours is non-GMO, and it's a hypoallergenic formula, meaning there's no gluten, no wheat, no dairy, no soy, no artificial anything in our product.
So we continued the line. Basically, when we started with the greens-based product, one of the things that everybody would ask, because we developed a weight loss program, basically, was, is this something we can do as a meal replacement? And the answer was no, because it didn't have protein in it, and it didn't have enough calories. So we developed a clean protein product. It's going to be different than the greens-based product because it doesn't have a lot in it. You want to keep it pretty clean. So we're basically 20 grams of protein. We can put anything in there other than pea and brown rice protein isolates, so it's super clean. We put sanchinchi and sumaroot, so what they do is give you essential fatty acids. It's going to complete the amino acid profile, and it's going to balance out. After you work out, it's going to balance your hormones out just to bring it back down to a balanced level. Then we've got vanilla extract and chocolate cocoa powder for the chocolate. Has no wheat, no gluten. Basically, it's super, super clean. So there's our protein right there.
So we have 2 distinct markets. As chiropractors, the first market we hit was the chiropractic market. A lot of chiropractors resell supplements out of their clinic. So it was easy sell for us. We went in, we go to expos, we go to chiropractic conventions, have expo booths, and we sell to chiropractors. So those are our wholesale accounts. Retail, we have consumers obviously looking for a healthy solution. You can buy our product, through Amazon and through our own website. It has a broader reach. We want to get into more big box stores. That's where we haven't gotten to yet that we need to work on. We're only about a year and a half old, so we're really trying to get into some big box retailers. Again, the competition has an inferior product, but they have a larger marketing presence than we do right now. Distribution, like I said, retail sold on our website, wholesale sold to chiropractors in 31 different states, natural health food stores, small gyms, CrossFit gyms. We do have a few distributors. Script Hesco and WBC Group are big chiropractic online distributors. They both carry our product. And through WBC Group, we were introduced to Advantage Nutrition, who is our Amazon seller, and they've done really well for us. And that's how we advertise a lot at expos. We have a lot of fun at expos. This was at Ideal World Nutrition and Fitness Expo in LA this summer. We try to go to one expo every 6 weeks. And we're going to continue the tradition. We leave for our lab Sunday in Florida to formulate 5 clean sports nutrition supplements. Most of those have artificial sweetener and artificial colors, so we're going to change the market there as well.
Great, thank you, gentlemen. All right, we're going to get started with our panel. Who would like to get started there? Just like one question each or 1 or 2 questions.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for presenting this morning. My first question is, let's say you get into big box stores.
Correct.
How is a consumer going to come to the aisle amongst all the other supplements and be like, this is the one I want? How do they know to pull your product off the shelf?
I mean, that's going to deal a lot with education, but consumers are starting to turn the bottle around and look at the back of the label. So they're going to start to read the supplement facts label and understand that our product is superior to the other products on the shelf. That, and we're going through kind of a brand and label redesign to make all of our supplements look exactly the same when they're on a shelf, so they know, hey, this is a Pro Alpha Nutrition supplement. We know they're a really clean company, and then we know there's no allergens in that product.
I'll give you 2 questions. One was actually on the design, because it looks very technical in a way, and if you want to get to people beyond your patients, to the everyday shopper, you're going to have to make it more accessible, but it sounds like you're doing that. And the second one was, at the moment, you rely on being the advocates or other fellow chiropractors. You've got to find kind of more mainstream advocates for your product, otherwise you're always going to be at the bottom of the shelf.
So when we first started, the very first slide that was up there that said Pro Alpha Nutrition that's the new logo, the rebranding we've just finished going through, and we're redoing all of the flyers and information we have so that it matches. And the premise for that was we started out on a chiropractic shelf. We knew in order to push into the bigger market, we needed to have something that had a quick, easy, brandable, recognizable logo and presence so that people would know when they see it, they know it's our product and start to get familiar with that. And so we've gone through that rebranding process. As far as that goes, what was the second question?
Advocates, you got to, at the moment you rely on yourself or chiropractors, but to get to the main market, you've either got to find a store that says, we're taking you exclusively and push you, or you're going to have to find some notable advocates to say, this is great.
Yeah, and we're working right now. We have a call set up with GNC for Tuesday morning. GNC is interested, and we also have a call with a company called Europa. Europa is a big health and fitness conglomerate. They take on products and push those products. We're going to talk with them a little bit as well. So we are trying to get those advocates in that market for sure.
And then just because you're in Kansas City, are there any local sports teams or sports people that would use your product?
Yeah, we actually sponsor about 5 professional MMA fighters. We haven't gotten to the sports teams yet. We're working on it.
We've got some professional soccer player using it, a professional football player. But as far as sponsorships with them, because they're handled by an agent, it's tough to get to that point unless you have the money to back them, or to actually say you're my athlete and pay him $1 million or whatever it is.
Well,
so,
I think you've got to rely on the fact you're a startup and a local startup to try and get them to.
And so that's kind of what we're doing. Yeah.
Hi. I see a lot of reference to sports in there. Is there not a danger in where you're going, and exactly the point that Nick's talking, that you're focusing on the sports market, the athletic side of it, and not mainstream? Just looking at your presentation, it's great. You're both chiropractors, so you're both in that athletic world. Yeah. How are you really, really going to take, in an extension of Nathan's question, how are you really going to take it to the mass market? What's going to differentiate you from all the rest that are out there? And how do you balance that this is good for sports people, athletes like myself, rather than, the mainstream of people?
So we started with, I hope you didn't want that one. So we started with the greens-based product, obviously, which That, in our vision, that is a product that anybody can use. I mean, everybody's lacking in fruits and vegetables. There's a number of reasons why everybody could use that product. The other thing, the flip side, I guess, to that coin is that your athletes, and it doesn't necessarily mean your elite athletes. It could be the person who goes to title boxing, who's out of shape and doing some new stuff that's challenging their body in a different way, is creating acidity in their body, needs anti-inflammatories, all of which is in the greens. They need that product. Most of the people who are in your 24-hour fitness, your lifetime fitness, they're taking a pre-workout supplement, or they're trying to figure out what's the best way for them to improve their body and their health and their well-being. And most of the products that they're buying, they just walk into a GNC and the guy at the front of the store tells them this is what you should take. And they don't know that even though they're trying to eat clean and they're cutting stuff out of their diet, they're still getting artificial sweeteners, getting all of this stuff. We'd love to educate people, but people are starting to become more educated. And so just providing that, putting it on the shelf, and doing what we can as we learn, via social media and all those things to educate people to look for this product. This is going to be a clean product. Anytime you see one of these, it's going to be a clean product. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, and we did steer a little bit more towards the sports nutrition market in the last 6 months because we saw the chiropractic market taking off as far as the greens product. They don't use the protein quite as much. Most people probably don't go to their chiropractor and buy your protein from your chiropractor. Usually you buy that off the shelf at GNC or Vitamin Shop or wherever you go. And the other thing with the sports nutrition market is there's such a void of clean nutritional supplementation in that market, meaning free of the artificial sweeteners, that we see an avenue there that we can go. And if you look at the history of sports nutrition, some of the big companies like Muscle Farm, they grow exponentially and they grow in a hurry. And it's just like people have probably heard of Vega. Vega sold for $550 million in January, and they make vegan protein. And they sold to the makers of Silk almond milk. So we see where the trends are going in sports nutrition.
But is there the possibility that you could differentiate your marketing? This is for kids, and this is for the family down the street, and this is for the athletes.
Exactly.
So potentially looking at a whole different A&P and marketing approach.
Yeah.
I'm not saying differentiate your products, but differentiate the way you project your products.
And we've talked about that a lot. And as we go through kind of this rebranding, what we're going to try to do is branch things off, have like more of a family nutrition website, and then have a sports nutrition website that's a little bit more separated than what we are right now.
Okay, I think we'll open it up to the audience for Q&A, so please raise your hand. Jeff, you want to start us off?
Nice looking product. I have a question about how you are doing right now. In other words, how long have you been in business? You started your presentation talking about how poor the general diet is in the United States. But it seems like your focus is on people who already know a lot about how poor their diet is, or who know how poor the options there are for improving it without eating fruits and vegetables.
Sure.
So if you really want to go after the mass market, you do have to communicate in a different way. And I don't know if that's something you're planning on doing at some point when you start looking at things like big box stores.
Sure.
Because right now you're looking at niche or specialty market outlets for the most part. So the question I have again is, when did you start? Where are you now? And what are your expectations or hopes for the future?
Sure, great question. So we started, our first product came out in February of 2014, and that was the greens product. We released the protein, came out this May, and we've doubled our income, our gross income from last year to this year already. And like John said, we're on back order for greens already. We're selling a lot more. We see some exponential growth for sure. And as far as the marketing, I think education is so huge, but John and I just have to figure out how to get the education out there on a broader platform to make people understand that, hey, you should be taking a greens phytonutrient drink for sure for everybody. And then the sports nutrition marketing is going to be completely different because, again, we have the niche of the clean supplementation on that side, but again, it does require some education. So, and that's why for us right now, the expos that we go to are the very best marketing strategy, because you sit there and talk to somebody one-on-one and can explain the differences in products and what they're lacking in the diet. So now we need to take that and somehow extrapolate that into education of the masses.
We have a question up front.
Good morning. Great presentation, you guys. I'm curious to expand a little bit on the different markets. Have you thought about, I'm thinking about if you're in a chiropractor, they're recommending this product, you're getting some instant credibility by doing that. If I go to a big box store and I see the same thing, does that lower the credibility? So I'm wondering about maybe different labeling, slightly different formula. The margins could be a lot higher probably with the chiropractor. And as you know, getting into big box stores is sometimes not only tough, but they're going to want to, the bigger they are, the more they're going to drive your margins down as well.
Absolutely. So yes, and we've thought about that before. We actually had a label that the greens bottle that you saw up there was what we called our clinical label. And that's what we sold to chiropractors and any kind of natural practitioner or MD or whoever wanted to sell out of their practice. And we had another label that we used for more of the sports nutrition side. Saying that, as chiropractors, we sell a ton of other supplements other than our own for specialty nutrition, adrenal dysfunction, thyroid disorder, whatever. You can find those supplements on Amazon, the same thing that we sell through our clinic. So I think that line is blurred now as far as going to a chiropractor and getting the product or going to Vitamin Shop and getting the product, because it's so readily available through VitaCost and all these Amazon, all these other retailers, that people are used to seeing it in more than one location at this point, in my opinion.
I had a question here to your right.
Hi, thank you guys for a great presentation. I had two questions. I know you said you didn't use artificial sweeteners, so I wondered what sweetener you use. And the second one is, what's your price point and how did you arrive at that?
I'll take the price point.
So right now we're using stevia. I've been using stevia for years and steeping stevia leaves just like you would in a coffee maker, and there's a lot of health benefits. It whitens your teeth, it's good for your body. So we've stuck with stevia just because it's clean and we know where it's coming from. And we don't use highly processed stevia leaves. We actually use something that's done similar to the same way and then dried down so that we have the stevia powder. So.
And then as far as price point goes, our normal full retail price for the greens for 1 month supply is $49.95, and for the protein is $54.99. We have MAP pricing agreements with our distributors. Our MAP pricing for greens is $39.95, and for protein is $44.99.
And so what did you use to get to that price point? Did you base it off your competition? Did you base it off your costs?
We base it off both things. We base it off competition and cost. I mean, our greens product, yeah, it's a little bit more expensive than, say, Amazing Grass. It's about the same as Nano Greens, about the same as Vitamineral Green. A little bit more expensive than a few and a little bit less expensive than a few. And the protein, vegan protein, is getting so much more popular now. Again, that was based off our cost and our competition.
Question in the center.
You guys are both chiropractors. I assume that you're selling it out of your offices. Are there other chiropractors? Have you been able to explore that channel as other chiropractors put it on their shelf? And the second question, I'm one of those supplement junkies that you're talking about. So I take the pre, the post, the amino acids. I'm working out about 5 times a week. How does it taste?
Yes, we're in 31 different states selling to chiropractors. When we started out, the first convention we went to was the largest chiropractic convention in the U.S., and that's kind of where we launched January of this year. As far as taste, the greens specifically, or okay, the greens is ridiculous. So that's my favorite thing to do when somebody walks up. My pitch is, when we're at a convention, because every time, it's funny to me, people go to a convention to look at products, but then when they walk by, they kind of do this number, like don't really. So I just holler at them, let me surprise you, because I'm going to surprise them. When you're expecting to taste something that's dark green, and it amazes me when people look at the color green, they're freaked out. They think everything should be brown like Coca-Cola. But if you give me just a second to surprise you, you're going to realize you can take it. It's not a problem at all. And I love it when they bring a kid up, because they say, let me give it to the kid first, because they think their kids are never going to take it, and they do. We're working on the pre-workout, the BCAAs, and that's the reason we're flying, is specifically to nail out the taste on those, to make sure that we use all clean stuff and get the taste right. And sometimes that's a little tricky, so it's best for us to fly out there, sit down, have the chemist come in and out, tell them it's a little this, it's a little that. So we actually don't have that in hand yet, but we'll have that nailed out before next week. So.
I have a question in the middle.
Great presentation. I'm currently a user of Juice Plus. Probably a competitor to yours in some way. And what really got me turned on to that was that when my kid was younger, he wouldn't touch any fruits or vegetables. And they have a remarkable marketing program where that if you get your kid on this thing, or actually buy your own for the family, then the kid gets his or her supply for free. So he's about 14 now, and hitting all of his, when he do his blood work, all this everything, he's doing great. And I strongly attribute that to his healthy style of eating and the Juice Plus. Tell me how you guys are working on a similar marketing plan, or if you've thought about doing that where you know, hook one with the other and get people on a subscription process, if you will, where it just keeps coming to the house and they take care of it.
Well, one of the things that we're trying to do as we try to raise some more capital is to revamp our website so that we can have drop ship orders and recurrent orders every month. We haven't done anything yet with the, buy this, get something free. We do run specials on our product every month, but that's something we're talking about. We want to implement this year, or hopefully in 2016, so that you get on an auto ship program, you get the product for cheaper per month, and boom, it comes to your door, you know it's coming, and you're ready for it. So we are working on that, but we have some website issues with that so far.
Guys, we got a question to your right over here.
First of all, I believe, I hope you are truthful on this greens tasting great, because if you are, then I'm signing up right now. But going back to the marketing side of things, have you, sports marketing, I think people tend to want to go right to the professionals, but as a mom of a child that comes home, has 15 minutes to eat and goes to practice, have you thought about targeting the club teams that go all the way up to, right before college, and connecting with them and driving and hitting that market? And there, what you'll have is find the moms that talk to each other and say, my son is on this, he loves it. They're probably more willing to have sponsorships. You'll have more face-to-face time because you'll probably be able to get in and do some sort of marketing during a during a summer camp or something like that, because that's a target market, I think, that has not been hit when I go down the greens aisle. It's all branding that is, no offense, but very hit at the hard body people. And speaking from a soft body person who doesn't know labels, if I see my kid drinking it, I'm probably going to start drinking it myself. So I think that might be a market, some connections that you might want to take a look at.
Well, I'm sorry? Perfect. Well, I'm convinced now, so thanks. No, that's a great idea, and of course, where we're at, I mean, that's a more feasible idea, obviously, than us grabbing, some big-named athletic star. And we want to, that's kind of where we're at, want to build grassroots and get involved with the community. And we've got some other things in works just within the last couple of days that are smaller, but more dear to our heart as far as connecting with the community and working with people that we know on a personal level for sure. So I definitely appreciate that advice.
Question on your left.
Okay, I'm going to admit that when I came here today, I thought, oh, great, what the world needs, another nutritional supplement, right? But you guys have done a good job convincing me that it seems like you're taking a different approach. The things you're trying to do are whole foods based, and so I would be interested in trying it. But that leads to my question of, we've talked a lot about marketing, but how are you solving your production problem? You already are backlogged.
So yeah, the production problem came because we got a huge order from our Advantage Nutrition supplier for Amazon. And so we projected out, when we need to order more bottles, and they came through with a huge order that we weren't expecting. And so yeah, we need to, one of the things is raise more capital so we can make sure we have enough stock as far as the greens product and the proteins. And then as it snowballs, hopefully we can keep everything in stock. Our production takes about 6 weeks for a run of greens. So yeah.
We're talking very much about the domestic market. Our role here is to internationalize business between Kansas City, Kansas, Missouri, UK. Huge market in Europe for this product. What thoughts have you had about internationalizing and exporting?
We've tried hard to get some exportation done. We're actually going through Thai FDA approval right now. We met a nutrition importer at a chiropractic convention in Orlando in August, and she was ultra excited about the product. So we have everything over to the Thai FDA. It's going through approval right now. We have somebody in Dubai that we're working with right now to see if we can import the product there. But yeah, we'd love to go international, so Europe would be good.
We're trying to stay away from the Brits.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm just teasing. We're not. We don't.
Yeah,
We can't put it
exactly.
in beer, so you know. Yeah.
Brown, yeah.
All right, guys, thanks so much for your presentation. We got one last question that we always ask, which is, what can this community of entrepreneurs do for you?
Well, I put a slide up for that. You know, we're looking for connections. We're looking for connections to the big box retailers, which we talked a lot about today. Just to sit down and have a conversation with a real person instead of sending something to a corporate office that gets lost in the shuffle. And then, you know, funding, we are looking for, you know, capital groups, maybe somebody to help us with a Kickstarter campaign, which we'd thought about doing. But we honestly, as practicing chiropractors, we don't have the time to sit down and do all that. So if a company could help us with that, we might be interested in that. And then private investors. So that's what we're really looking for.
Great, thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we've got a couple of announcements before our next presenter. First up, we're going to have Andrea come up and tell us about Startup Grind.
All right, happy Wednesday, everyone. So next Monday, I'm the Office and Events Manager at Village Square, which is a co-working studio on State Line at 45th and State Line. And next Monday, we are hosting Startup Grind. We're going to have Tom and Henry Block there. Tickets are $25. That gets you in to have a casual conversation with these folks. And dinner's covered, drinks are there. But for all of you who are here today, we're offering a promo code of $5 off, and that promo code is 1MC. So I'll be around afterwards if you want to come find me. I have cards, and I can get you connected with all of the information. But we hope to see you guys all there next Monday. Thanks. 6 to 9 p.m.
Thank you. If you haven't been to a Startup Grind, that's a really good, it's a very different take, but it's a similar feel. So that's a really good program. And then next up, we're going to have Nathan do an announcement. Song and dance.
Song and dance.
Did you bring your guitar?
No.
Dang it.
Not this time. Hey, so thanks all for being here. As Steve mentioned, there's events all week with the UK Concept Pop-Up here. So there's flyers in the back by the coffee. Grab one on the way out today. Also want to invite you, 1 million cups is already the best reason to be late for work, according to, is it The Star? Several magazines and newspapers in town. Continue that trend today. We invite you to stick around from 10:15 to 11:15. We have a panel. Nick Fox as well from Virgin, he'll stick around. Jack Westwood from the UK Consulate. Yaz Matayamu from our research policy team at Foundation. And Doug Krebs, who built Cerner's international business from 0 to over 100 million. He's with us today as well. So stick around for the panel afterwards. Thanks.
Thank you, Nathan. All right, next up, our next presenter is going to be Brian Driggs with Christian Work Group. Just you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can everybody hear me okay? Good. Today's a good day for us. I'm Brian, the founder of Christian Work Group. We're here presenting to you guys today. We also launch on the radio today. We played about 4 or 5 times a day on bot radio, 7 days a week. So that's exciting. But I'm going to start out with a little video to kind of give you guys an idea of who we are and what we're doing. So. Kind of give you an idea there A little bit about who we are. Okay. So who is Christian Work Group? We are a Christian organization that's taking all of the Christian companies and professionals around Kansas City area, and we're putting them in one spot, which is a discount mobile app. The best part about that is that all of our members are given a discount right in the app, and it's free to download. So everybody can download the app, go in there, and start saving money on services, whether it be, fireplace and chimney, plumbing, or what have you. Now, other than discounts, we offer more integrated work as far as social media integration. You can go into our app and update your status, talk to other users that like to use those companies. You can check on companies that were commented and rated. Within that, everything in our app is social media compatible. So if there's a company that's in there that you like, you can share it right to your Facebook and Twitter, and you can share their discount, which in turn gets that company more marketing and get them out there as well. We also offer a broadcast where you can go in for your daily inspiration. In there, you'll see several pastors that are globally known, very, very good pastors that can give you that daily inspiration you need. Each seminar in there is about 40 minutes long, as well as bot radios in there as well. You can click on that and listen right to their live broadcast feed. We also offer a local Christian events. What this means to you is that all the churches that sign up to be a part of our organization get to list all their local Christian events in Kansas City. You can go check in and attend right in the mobile app and get directions, and it takes you right to that certain event. We do what's called 10% profit sharing with churches in Kansas City. So 10% of the money that we earn as a company, of that profit, goes to the churches that share our vision and share what we're doing here in Kansas City, which is a huge, huge factor for us too, and it benefits a lot of the local churches. The best part about that, the companies pay whatever they want to join. So that's a little different, I'm sure, than most of you have probably heard, especially when it comes to a company that kind of revolves around the whole marketing aspect of things. We just wanted companies to be able to afford our service, and the best way to do that is to make it a price everybody can afford. So we do what's called the honor system. People just pick a price of what they think it's worth to them as a company, and then in turn, they get a listing with us. Now with that, we also do pretty much a scripture every Monday morning to help influence faithful leadership. Our value as an organization is that we believe the foundation of everything that we do is in the leadership of who we are. And so we try to influence that the best way we can, as well as list your business in our mobile app. And so you can sign up as a company. If you go to www.christianworkgroup.com, you go right to the apply page, and you can fill that out. So that's in a nutshell, that's kind of who we are and what we're doing here. But is there any questions you guys may have?
What is a Christian company? So you'll have to excuse me. What's a Christian company, and why do we need a Christian work group in this modern, especially cluttered space of e-marketing? Why?
Okay, so good question, by the way. As far as what is a Christian, we operate the same way a church does. How do you know if a Christian's a Christian? How do you know if somebody's, a faith-driven individual? You assume they are until proven otherwise. It's kind of the way it works. But from our perspective, you look at, where do you spend 8 hours of your day? At work. That's where you are more than anywhere else. You spend more time usually at work than you will with your families in your entire life. So that's a great place to help influence and help bring faithful leadership to the workplace. And this is a way for us to do that, for them to see, because most people think about it from a business perspective as, I want to be a part of something that's going to help my business to grow. That's what we've established. At the same time, gives us a way to help influence them and inspire them through several courses of faithful leadership with our scripture readings. We're also going to be hosting yearly events, annual events for all of our members to get together, and we have pastors that come in and talk about how to illustrate faithful leadership in the decision-making of a business and how to make that the foundation of what you guys stand for.
So, listening to you just now, it sounds like your business is more about leadership and inspiration, but you led off with discounts.
Yes.
So, to me, you've got a mixed business model or a mixed message,
Yes,
because
sir.
which usually in business makes it difficult to grow.
It does make it difficult to grow, but from our perspective on it, we want you to see a benefit not only in your growth as an individual business and your structure of who you are, because that's the core of, I believe in businesses. It's the people that make it up. And in those people, that foundation, we want to help establish that. Now, if I go to a company and say, hey, do you want to us to teach you on how to build your company in a Christ-like manner and help build that faithful leadership, it's way more appealing if we come to you and say, hey, would you like us to list your business into our mobile app that gets shared amongst several thousand people that are going to use that app, as well as influence social media, as influence faithful leadership.
But I suppose the issue for me is that discounts, whether it's Groupon or the other type of things are out there all over the place. Your difference is around your inspiration and the leadership programs you're trying to bring out. So I just think you have to think about what your unique edge is in a very cluttered space. And yes, absolutely use the discounts as a way of gaining, loyalty and more traction. But I don't think a discount on its own is enough.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so you're kind of hiding it's almost like you're embarrassed about it. You're saying, I'm going in with a discount and then I'm going to go and try and persuade them of the leadership point. And I think if you believe in the efficacy of the Christian leadership, then you should go in proud about that and the fact that the discounts, there are added benefits, but I don't think on its own a 10% discount, because today you can find discounts all over the place.
Oh yeah, you can find discounts all over the place, you're right. And from kind of the way we see it is that in any ministry, and that's what it is, it's a ministry. I mean, we want people the world loves discounts. And if we get people to download and use those discounts, and on the back end we have the services that are providing those, the companies that are providing services to the people using the discounts. So the kind of two-part to that was we wanted to instill faithful leadership into them as they're giving those discounts to the public. So it's kind of our way of getting people to get in contact with these Christian businesses and allowing them to use them. But good point, I do like that. Yeah.
Can you tell us, when did this idea first come around? When did the business get started? Were all these components in there when you first got going? Did you add the discounts later? Did you add the Scriptural Monday later? Like, talk about your process, your strategy, and how you got to where you are.
Yeah, so, my dad, he owned a company here in Kansas City, and I worked with him for, several years, and I noticed that he was a very, faith-led businessman, and as we got more into growth, I was looking for a lot of things to be able to share our faith through what we do and different organizations that allow that to happen. And as far as where we were on our rate of technology and social media outreach and where that was, there wasn't anything that I felt was up to par with where we were on that. So that's when the idea of like, well, why don't we just make a discount mobile app that's full of all Christian services that are put out to the public? And meanwhile, with that, we're also building a membership, because it is a membership program. So those companies that sign up with that membership, that's one of the benefits that they get, is we do send out scripture. We will have ministers that will be hosting, on our little broadcasts and being able to do things like that. So.
And are there others like you across the U.S.?
It's good. I like to say no, but that's a good question. As far as what we're doing, I have not been aware of anything that's identical to what we're doing. I know that there are like Christian Yellow Pages, but at the end of the day, it's a Christian Yellow Pages. I mean, that's good. It's like people like it, but is it beneficial to the everyday consumer? Is it beneficial to everybody? I mean, what's to prevent? We want to get people that may not be real faith-led people, may not know God, may not have that relationship, but they're going to go to our app to save some money. But when they go there, they're influenced by a faith-led serviceman that could, who knows what could come of that relationship.
Well, let's take that on a little bit, the elasticity of where it could come. Mm-hmm. Do you see the potential for growth with your business going with Christian Yellow Pages, with the Christian dating services? Do you see a whole suite of Christian-based industries coming down the track with you in the middle, providing your discount services, sort of spiritually guided home advisor type approach to things?
Yeah, definitely. And I see it too because there's a need for it. We live in a world that's and unfortunately we are living in a world that's becoming more materialized, especially with the rate of technology growing so quickly. People are so unattached to people in actual relationships. So it's a market that we want to go to the core and help influence leadership. And I know and my beliefs are that in the Christian manner that's a great way to do it, because it's a very effective form of leadership that we try to instill in companies at the same time, building their brand, building their business, and getting it out there. So yes, I do believe it will be a big market.
And then I suppose the logical question, which is from Steve's one, is do you see yourself setting up in other cities? Because your Kansas Christians will move or travel, and when they get to other cities, they'll want to have discounts. Yes. Or like-minded businesses, or even churches they can visit.
Yes, we're in the works right now of actually going out to Dallas, Texas here in about 8 months. We have some meetings with a lot of big churches out there. We're going to be meeting and kind of telling them about our product, tell them what we're doing, the service we're providing, and how it could be a benefit to those churches as well. So our goal is to get out there and eventually get into the app development side for churches themselves.
All right, let's open it up to questions from the audience. I think, all right, we'll go over here.
Can you tell us a little bit about the metadata? What are you going to do with all of that metadata that you gather, and are you going to gather that? Are you going to track who uses what discounts where, and are you going to go back to people that are advertising on it and say, these are the results you're getting? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so we do have some data as far as like in any mobile app that you get into, it'll ask you want to allow push notification, enter your age, so that way it correlates with your social media accounts. And a lot of that stuff is to gather information as far as who your demographic is. Are you hitting 40, 18-year-old, 25-year-old individuals? A lot of us, we do some third-party work with that, but what we would like, for that industry, yeah, we would like to, I mean, it's good to know as far as marketing product, but we would like to unveil percentage on top here in about 2 years as far as the companies to say, hey, we're sending you this much traffic, because we monitor how much traffic is getting sent to that company. They're getting so many clicks a day, they're getting that, and eventually we're talking about maybe putting like a 2% click rate on there or something of the sort, but that's still to be determined.
Question right sent. Oh, you didn't have a question? Sorry, I thought your hand was raised.
I have a
Joe?
question.
Okay, if you do.
Oh,
Hi, I have a couple of questions. The first one is, are you a nonprofit or?
No, we're an LLC.
So how do you base your revenue when people pay what they want? Is that working out?
Yeah, actually, we give them a list to choose. We have a $10 minimum, so they have to pay about $10 a month. But when they pick their price, they go through and select it, and actually the outcome of that has been more than I thought, that's for sure. But when we opened it, it wasn't with the intent to have a set price and come up with a set price and make it that. We wanted to make it affordable for everybody, and as of right now, it's been working very well for us, so we don't find ourselves changing that anytime soon.
The next question I have is meant in all seriousness. I'm not trying to be funny, but when a service like this exists, do you have standards for the advertisers as to how they provide their services? And here's why I'm asking this. I have a lot of experience with people who are non-Christian, especially immigrants who have come to trust Christians. Perhaps they went to a Christian school in their home country and moved here. So they trust Christians. And so if they wind up in a situation where they are perhaps denied service because they superficially at least appear not to be Christian, for example, do you have standards of service for making sure that your advertisers behave in a Christian way, I guess is the best way to put it?
Yeah, we have a terms of service that they agree to when they sign up with us. And what that says is that you state to run your company in a faith-led manner according to our conducts. And we have a whole page I can get onto it, but it would take me a while to cover that. Now, with that, we understand that no business is going to run perfect. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're the best business in the world. You're going to have unsatisfied customers eventually. And when that stuff comes up to us, our customer service deals with that. We find out, get to the bottom of it, what's going on, why is it happening, and what came of it, whether a company decides to steal, decides to do something, we'll deal with that and get a hold of that company. And we have full authorization to, if we find that you are running your organization outside of those code of ethics, we have full authorization to terminate you from our listing. So.
I have a question against the wall back here.
Hi, my question is, how many users do you have on the platform, and how's your experience been arriving to that point so far?
Users on our platform, it's funny you asked that because today is actually our big launch day. So as of right now, we've done like a kind of a beta phase with about 300 downloaders that were mainly accumulated through social media outreach at a minor scale, but mainly from getting people on and just telling them about it and just saying, hey, feel it, how do you like it? But as far as our main launch, that's happening today, so which is great. And we're going to be speaking here, and then we go live on the radio here today too. So I will let you know if I can get your card, and I can email you here in a month and give you a little bit more accurate statement on that, how well that growth's going out for us.
Question on your right.
Good morning.
One of the things I think you mentioned, connecting more with the churches. I moved away from here and lived in Michigan for a while, and I didn't know anybody there. And as a Christian, I went to a local church there, and I emailed the pastor, though the pastor's wife, and said, "I'd like to know what are the local business owners that are in the church, because I would like to support their business." If it was like I was looking for a cleaners or all these different things, and so. That I think you may have mentioned that a little bit at the end here, but that may be a good way of connecting with the pastors and people actually in the church that may want to support business owners in their organization, and using this app. And it's like a easy way to say, oh, okay, here are some events I can go to, and I'm new to the state and city and I don't know anything, but this would be a great place to get a lot of information at once.
Yes. Yes, and it is. And something we find too is, especially with a church, is, believe it or not, a church, if they recommend a company and that company does a bad job, who's it fall back on? The church, right? And as a pastor or an organization, as a church board, you don't want that, because now it's like, hey, we referred a chimney company or we referred a painting company, they did a horrible job. What we do for the churches is we're like kind of that middleman to say, hey, if somebody comes to your church and asks for a Christian company or a company they can trust, you just give them Christian Work Group and they can go right into our mobile app and get whatever they're looking for right there. So.
I have a question in the middle.
Go ahead.
I'm curious, how do you determine which churches share your vision? Is it going to be an interview process? Is it going to be a questionnaire?
Yeah,
I would think most churches would share.
They can apply right on our
vision.
website. They fill to pretty much sign their church up to say, yeah, we share your vision. Like kind of what we're like. But when I say share our vision, share what we're doing, and share that with their congregation. Now they apply for that right on our website as well, just like the businesses do, and then we go arrange a meeting with them and go over what all they're looking for and how we can help them out and how we can correlate our services with them. And that's free for the churches to do, but when they do sign up, that qualifies them for our 10% profit sharing. So 10% gets equally dispersed amongst the businesses or amongst the churches that are in that.
I have another question from the panel.
I hate to be the prophet of doom here, but
Great.
You're only going to be as good as your last customer's deal and experience. And picking up on where the question came from, what happens if that experience goes south and they have a bad experience? How are you going to pick up from that? How are you going to recover your brand image and what you stand for? I hear what you're saying about the faith and the spiritual side of it, but this is about customers who go to get their fireplace fixed or whatever. How are you going to deal with that when it goes wrong?
And that's the thing. I mean, because in each category of our app, you're going to be able to select from let's say if you're looking for a chimney company, there will be hopefully multiple chimney companies in there. Now, if one of those companies does a horrible job for a customer and they're very disgruntled, they can get a hold of us. I used a company in your app, didn't work out for me. They stole something out of my home. At that point, I mean, because obviously we're all about relationship building, so we get a hold of them directly and almost investigate the situation to say what had happened. We're going to contact the business and get to the bottom of that, and that's when I'll go meet with the company and say, we need a solution of why this happened, how can we fix it, and make it right. And if that company can't do that, or let's say that reoccurring behavior happens, they're no longer going to be listed in our app. We're going to have to tell them that we're sorry, but due to your unethic services, we have to eliminate from
Lost that customer.
Yes.
Dominoes will start toppling. That customer will say, hey, I had a bad experience.
Yeah, and
how are you going to deal with that?
And we'll hope to obviously negotiate with that customer and say, how can we help you? How can we get with your services? How can we help you out? If I have to get a hold of that company and say, hey, can you go back there and can you make things right with them, and we oversee that happens, we can take care of that stuff as it comes.
Kind of following on for that point, how many people are actually working in the business at the moment?
Pardon me?
How many people do you have working in your business? Because obviously getting out to market it,
yes,
getting more businesses on board, more churches on board, and trying to get more customers involved.
Yes, as far as
legwork.
Businesses, I think we are about 42 businesses. As far as people, there's about 7 of us. A lot of things is done automated online, things like that, so it doesn't require as much manpower. But we right now is kind of, and it's hard to give you a big shout out to how many people we're expecting, because like I said, today is kind of our big day to really get out there and.
No, I didn't mean how many customers. I meant how many people. You're the founder.
Yes.
I think your brother's over there, is he?
Yep.
But I mean, how many people are you going to get powering the Christian Work Group so that you can get out and about?
We're hoping to be right at about, I figured right at about 7 people is what we really need for the Kansas City area to get it out. We're planning on doing a lot of social media stuff for our branding and getting that out that way. I know that's definitely a very newer strategy, but there's a lot of different aspects from the social media side that doesn't require as many people to be on board. So yeah, we're at about 7 or 8, and then when we go to Dallas here in a few months, we're going to kind of reassess to see what all it takes. Because like I told our guys, I said, Kansas City is a great city to start this in, but it's also a beta. So we're still learning and expecting to see how many people we're going to have to need to man this.
Question on your right.
Yeah.
I have a question about how you're going to scale your project, because obviously right now it's just in Kansas City, and you're talking about the integrity of the businesses that you're working with. So if you have to go out and touch every single one anytime that there's a conflict, how is that scalable when you go national or international, especially with the price point that you have of make it up as you see fit? How is that going to be a scalable, sustainable model?
Good question. And that's going to be a system that we're going to be talking about as we go to Dallas. Like I said, when we're going out there, we're meeting with there's a lot of bigger pastors out there that actually want to be a part of Christian Work Group. And that's what we're excited to see about how can we, talk about how are we going to handle the customer service on a broad scale when we're dealing with disgruntled customers. And that's a good question. But for the Kansas City area, as of right now, I know we definitely have the manpower to be able to deal with that as it comes in. But as future growth goes, we'll have to reassess as we grow and kind of figure out a plan that's going to be most beneficial. So.
I have a question over here to your left.
Yes.
I'm curious, do you guys get to pay taxes, or is that not a deal?
Yeah, we do pay taxes, yes, definitely. So.
I just want to make sure.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, question to your right, the back.
Yeah, so just an interesting question about, I guess, the branding. And I know that you're trying to match, I think from what I understand, is anybody in the community with people that may have integrity in their business.
Yes.
The mission of Christianity obviously has a lot to do with forgiveness. And maybe the branding message should be around, okay, things are going to go awry. There's going to be consumers that are going to have a bad situation with a business owner and vice versa.
Yes.
Maybe the branding message should be more along that forgiveness line. How do we reconcile differences versus let's match people with the utmost integrity together? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that's definitely a good statement there with our system too, is we wanted just to really emphasize on the faithful leadership. I know there's an organization called Integrity Resources. I don't know if you guys have heard about them, but they help instill a lot of integrity and a lot of the same kind of faithful leadership principles. And from our goals, that was kind of the purpose of the discount side of things, was to get out to everyone because everybody likes to save money, and then instill the faithful leadership that way. But good point.
So our last final question for you, what can we as a community do to help you?
As a community, sign up. Get as many Christian businesses in there as we can and make this app fun and user-friendly for everybody.
Thank you so much for your presentation today.
You bet. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Two quick reminders before we leave. Today is the last day to sign up for Pipeline, so if you are an entrepreneur and you haven't applied, please apply. And then secondly, we have 15 minutes to clear out of this room or stay if you'd like to see the presentation following. So I know that networking is not going to be as long today, so if you could, please respect that, and I hope we see you next week. Thanks, bye.